Upgrades, upgrades, upgrades. So it's that time once again at techsceneza for the 2024 home network upgrade. But this time we're taking a rather different approach. This right here is the dlink R15, part of the Eagle Pro AI range. And this is an AX1500 smart router. And this is the newest addition to the TechScene home network. So as you guys may remember, last year we introduced the Eagle Pro AI M15s into our home. So those were smart mesh routers. This right here is the Eagle Pro AI AX1500 smart router, the R15. So what makes it different? This is a full router and comes with all the full routing capabilities compared to the slimmed down version of the mesh. This is a Wi-Fi 6 router and it's capable of connecting up to 128 devices, and it's ideal for 4K video streaming, VR gaming, video calling, and just keeping all of your smart home devices connected. It has AI convenience and you can turn this on and off, and the intelligence of this actually conveniently improves and optimizes your network automatically. Now, coming to some of the specs. In terms of the input, this has a single RJ45 mesh AI input. In terms of its standard, it's a dual bandwidth AX1500 Wi-Fi 6 router. In terms of its speed and configuration, on the 2.4 GHz, it's capable of speeds up to 300 megabits per second, and on the 5 GHz up to 1200 megabits per second. The 2.4 GHz is an 802.11n network, and the 5 GHz is the 802.11ax. So as we mentioned, 128 devices, and in terms of security, this is capable of WPA, WPA2, as well as WPA3. It has Firewall, DDoS, SPI, anti-spoofing, IP addresses, as well as a DMZ zone which you can configure. This is or has a coverage of up to 230 square meters, but you can introduce other devices like the M15s, which are the mesh routers which can connect and create a bigger mesh network, as well as it can connect to the range extenders within the Eagle Pro AI range. So now, when it comes to the hardware that's built into this router, in terms of a processor, it has a 1 gig or 1 gigahertz dual core processor. In terms of RAM, it has 256 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of flash memory. In terms of weight, it's 300 grams and it has 4 fixed omnidirectional antennas. At the back, in terms of ports, we have our gigabit Ethernet WAN port, and then we have 3 gigabit LAN ports. We have a reset button, a WPS button, and our DC 12 volt 1 amp in. The overall design, I mean, this is much more simplistic if you consider it. It does have some of the new age sharp corners and stuff at the top, as well as a lot of ventilation in terms of the top as well as the bottom. So that's a good thing. And speaking of the bottom, at the bottom we have 2 clip-on sections here, which you can just 2 screws, clip it onto a wall or whatever, and adjust your Wi-Fi antennas. The Eagle Pro AI range was meant to introduce AI, but also have a minimalistic approach, because if you remember, the M15s, those are also simplistic, low impact devices that you can place anywhere. And I think it's the same thing with this, because even if you look at the LEDs, 4 LED indicators, power, internet, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. how much more would you need? So in terms of its additional features, just like the M15s, this is Google and Amazon Alexa capable. It has the AI assistant built in with the AI mesh optimizer, AI parental controls, AI traffic optimizer. So depending on your regular network traffic, it optimizes, or it can optimize specific traffic. It also has AI Wi-Fi optimizer. So depending on where your routers are placed, it will sort of adjust the network. It has MU-MIMO. It has seamless Wi-Fi networks. It has smart beaming, so it pushes devices depending on which is the closest access point. It has smart connection bandwidth optimization. So depending on the bandwidths that are available, it moves that. And then Wi-Fi mesh support, as well as target wake time. Now, let's move on to the setup and the UI at my desk. Okay, so now when it comes to setting up the R15, it is fairly simple and easy. I currently have it plugged in right now, and it can be set up in one of two ways. Either via the web interface of the device, or it can be set up via the Eagle Pro AI app, which is found on the Google Play or Apple App Store. If we had to set it up via the app, once it loads, it'll show you a list of all the devices that are connected to your home network. And what you can do from there, you click the plus, and then it says scan QR to set up. And then all I have to do is scan the QR underneath the device. It's asking me if I want to set it up as a router or a range extender. I go set up as a router. It's telling me power off the modem, do the whole connection thing, power off, right, it's ready, and now the connection is being set up. After that, it's now gonna ask us for Wi-Fi settings, and now my phone is connecting to the Wi-Fi of the R15. Okay, so it's giving me a little bit of a hassle because I'm saying that it's being set up as a router. But after this, it would ask you for your Wi-Fi connection information, to what name you want to give it, and then configuration is done. If we had to do this via the web interface now, that would be a little different. I'm going to do it from mobile just for ease of use, right? So again, it's asking us whether we want it in the router mode or extender mode. Then it's asking us if we want to connect via the Wi-Fi. So the same configuration can be done via the web interface. And if you want to see a full setup of this router, we're going to do that in a much later video. So after all the setup, configuration, and the testing, now who is its intended target market? So this right here is slightly different compared to the M15s. So the M15s were basically a plug and play sort of situation where you plug in your AI mesh routers, or you plug in one, has the internet, has all the settings, and then you just plump down the others and they connect and you have a mesh network. This is a little more different because this now is a full router, and it can give you that functionality of controlling your IP addresses and creating DMZ zones and all of those things. So that's why last year we stepped up to the M15s because we needed better Wi-Fi coverage, and now we are matching that with a smart router. So basically I wanted the full control of the router. That's why I didn't change when the M15s came in, because I could have plugged in, but it didn't let me have that control over the router. And that's where the R15 comes in. So in terms of who this is for, this is now for your mid to top level networking or home networking specialist. So if it's for someone that wants to create an elaborate network, although you want mesh, you can add more devices and all of those things, but you need the functionality of creating DMZ zones, blacklists, and all of those things. This is who talks to that. But that also doesn't mean that an entry-level networker can't utilize this device. So entry-level, basically anyone that wants a good Wi-Fi coverage and isn't gonna cost you an arm and a leg, this is suited for them. And I mean, even from the setup, you could see it's also very simple if you're utilizing the app, or even if you're setting it up via the web interface. Literally fill in all your info and it's set up. So, I mean, basically anyone, but it gives you more control. That's the bottom line. Speaking of cost, so this retails for anywhere between 900 Rand and 1,000 Rand. At the time of filming this, it was on special from a store in Pretoria that we're not going to endorse, but it was on special for like 600 or 700 Rand. In coming to round up, guys, you guys know what a dlink fanboy I am. And I mean, from the situation of our network, you can see how powerful dlink devices are. They may not be the cheapest on the market. We leave the cheapest to the cheapest. But dlink, the one thing I must say, you get a strong quality product that's never going to let you down. And I'm not saying this because obviously we work with them. We've had our current router, right, the DIR825. My entire YouTube content creation career, that has been the primary router of our home. And that router has been running a solid, say, 12 years almost. Before fiber was a thing, that was the router that we were using. When we had the ADSL connection, we were using that as our primary router. Now, the devices, we've always had dlink devices, whether it was an ADSL device or up to now. You know that these devices never let us down. And again, I'm not just saying this because we work with dlink. These are strong devices, and the devices that I've lost were actually due to lightning. It wasn't through any other reasoning that it just failed or anything like that. So the dlink devices last a very, very long time. And that's why I've trusted them. Moving to mesh, moving to a new router, dlink is always the way to go. Best coverage, even when we used to have just the DIR825 as the coverage. We got sufficient coverage both in the main building. Back when we had the studio, it used to provide coverage all the way there. So now that we've come to mesh, we have even more coverage area that is being supplied. And with this, it comes now an additional access point. So from 3 access points, we're moving to 4 access points on our mesh network. So you can tell how much coverage and how much stronger our signal is going to be. You can also see, guys, one of the other things besides its reliability is the fact that the user interface is so easy. It's not just 1 million options and you have to figure yourself out. It's simple things that you can click, 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 and you know how to figure your way around. I might also be saying this because I'm so used to dlink, but I mean, anyone who doesn't even know what they're doing, from the menu, the menus are self-explanatory. It tells you where you're going, what you need to do. And even if you're lost, you can just click, be like, okay, there, oh, network filter. Right, you can block someone from connecting to your network. Anything like that. So it's also reliable and so easy to use. So that's one of the other big things with dlink. But all in all, dlink is an awesome brand and there's no gray area with them. This hasn't been implemented into the home network just yet. That's going to be a totally separate video. If you want to pick up one of these, for yourself. There's a link in the description below to Takealot and all of the other stores that you can pick up one for yourself. Guys, if you are excited to see the implementation of the R15 in the TechScene Home network, make sure you subscribe and you will see that video coming very, very soon. But until then, guys, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our future content. And if you enjoyed this video, you can let me know by giving a like rating if you did. Guys, thank you for watching. My name is Prashant and I'll catch you in the next video.